week away. Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man tabi wal huda. In beginning, another beautiful day with another beautiful episode from the Pen Files. Again, my name Abdul Hakim Muhammad, author of the book From Pen to Pen, president of the organization, the Pen Files, which brings another episode of our illustrious book, From Pen to Pen. So far, guys, we have covered multiple chapters. We have reached chapter 14. We have completed 14 episodes. My advice: go back and get every episode, review, examine every episode that took place from the beginning to the end. Those that want to know the story, those that really, really want to understand the story, because it's not just my story. And this is what you all have to really understand and realize. This is not just my story. Whose story is it? And I have to continually place emphasis on this one point. 12 to 15% of society, but make up more than 40% of the prison industrial complex here in America. I want those numbers to register. I want those numbers to continually register inside your mindset, your understanding, what you understand of the prison industrial complex, what it means to you. Is it significant to your life? Is it part of your future? Is it a detrimental situation? Is it something that can be avoided? Who are the culprits? Who are the stakeholders? Who are the individuals involved at making sure that this program, this prison industrial complex, continues to thrive by way of the weakness of a certain individual group called the African American population? The African American population, you can say, well, it's Latinos in it. Are their numbers as high as the African American population? Caucasian, there are Caucasians a part of it. Are their numbers as high as the African American? There are other groups, but are their numbers as high as the numbers of the African American community? We're talking about a community that is a minority here in America, but make up the majority of the prison industrial complex. That's something that you just can't make up. You just can't wake up in the morning and say, well, how did this happen? We went back to 1978. We talked about the thousands and thousands of individuals that were incarcerated in state and federal custody. Thousands, hundreds of thousands. But then we fast forwarded to today, and how those hundreds of thousands turned into millions. How those hundreds of thousands turned into millions. We're talking about a group, an organization, a group, a society, a group, a community, a group of people targeted for destruction right here in America. Whether you want to accept it, whether you want to nickname it, whether you want to call it something other than what it is, you put your terminology on it. You have that right. Land of the free, home of the slave. Land of the free, home of the brave. Which one do you identify with? Huh? Answer that question. Land of the free, home of the brave. Land of the free, home of the slave. Which one do you identify with? Which one you can say, yeah, I think I fell victim to that. I can say I really, really fell victim to that. So today, our topic today is something that you really, really, really need to pay attention to. And awareness is key when it comes to this topic here. This topic Rather this volume, because I'm changing volume. This is considered as volume 5. This is the 5th volume of the book, From Pen to Pen. It's the 5th volume. And today we're going to cover rehabilitation. Today, we're going to cover rehabilitation. What is rehabilitation? Can someone like define rehabilitation in a nutshell? Huh? Give it to me like in a nutshell. Define rehabilitation. Some could say, I mean, you can put whatever type of definition, whatever type of meaning you want to put on it. It's your choice. So when we talk about rehabilitation, we're like talking about an act of restoration, an act of restoring a person's life back to his original state of affair. Yes, it's an action. It's an action that's taking place to help restore a person's life. So if we're talking about a person was sick, so that means we're going to identify with his health and restoring the health back to the original state that his health was in prior to him becoming sick. So he had to go through a transition of rehabilitation. So let's say he has a problem with addiction, drugs, alcohol. That same action to restore this man back to a life of sobriety. Let's let alcohol be his form of addiction. He wakes up, he drinks. He goes to sleep, he drinks. In the afternoon for lunch, he drinks. For breakfast, he drinks. For dinner, he drinks. All occasions, he drinks. He meet a friend, he drinks. His team wins, he drinks. At the birthday, he drinks. Someone dies, he drinks. Someone's born, he drinks. Alcoholic. What is his original state of affair? Is he born? Is he born? Created as a drunk? Is he born coming out of the womb of his mother, coming out of the womb of his mother from the seed of his father? Is he already coming out as an alcoholic? So this is what we're talking about, rehabilitation, right? The action of restoring someone's health, someone's normal life, someone's normal routine, therapy, imprisonment, addiction, illness, back to what? Back to the original affair. Back to its original affair. Its original situation, what we call the asal, the origin. If they say you want to find out a problem, go to the origin. How did the individual deviate from that origin? Then you're going to be able to find out how the individual can be cured. You want to find a problem? You got to go back to where the problem started at. The asal, the origin of that problem. Where did it start at? In the beginning. This happened, that happened. So how do we fix it? We got to go back to what? In the beginning. This is what happened. So now we have to combat that situation that took place, that took this man off track, that led this man down the road of what? Alcoholism, drug addiction, criminal activities, whatever the situation is may be. All of these can fall into the category of an action or a component where rehabilitation can be utilized to fix the problem. All of these. So we have a statement. We have a statement. And the statement is that education costs less than keeping a man in prison. Let's let that sink in. Education costs less than keeping a man in prison. Who agrees, who disagrees? Thoughts? Who agrees, who disagrees? What does it cost to educate an individual? What does it cost to house an individual, to incarcerate an individual? So when you educate an individual, now you're giving this individual the opportunity to be what? To be competitive in the workforce. You're given this opportunity to be able to defend for himself now. See, because when you're incarcerating him, when you're locking him inside of the penal system, what is happening? Now you have to do what? You have to provide this individual with three meals a day. You have to provide this individual with a place to sleep. You have to provide this individual with electricity. You have to provide this individual with heat if it's cold outside. You have to provide this individual with healthcare services. You have to provide this individual with dental services. You have to provide this individual with so many different components, and each and one of these components have what? Have a monetary value connected to it. Meaning it's going to cost. Meaning it's going to cost. But when you make the comparison between the cost of housing individuals inside of this thing that we call the criminal justice system and educating, when you can make the comparison between the two, you're talking about night and day. You're talking about nighttime and you're talking about daytime. They're not the same. Can we go back? How many remember SCIG? How many remember SCIG? When we was talking about the State Correctional Institution of Greatesville, when we were talking about how many cells that were on a block, how many cells were on one block? And there were multiple blocks inside this institution. We talked about this. And we made mention that there are thousands of individuals, thousands and thousands of individuals housed inside of these institutions all over the country. And there's a bill for each and every individual. There's a bill. So if there are thousands of individuals incarcerated, we're paying for thousands of individuals incarcerated. But what does it say about our society when it comes to rehabilitation? We're continually housing them. But when we find out based on research, and you're going to find it, you're going to find research. Research is, research can help you understand some things. And research may not help you understand. It's all about your mindset. It's all about your level of understanding. Research can help you understand that there are more individuals housed in state and federal custody who are non-violent criminals. Did anyone hear that? Did anyone understand what I just said? There are more non-violent criminals, and I hate putting that word on, but that's the word that's been coined. There are more non-violent individuals housed inside correctional facilities than there are individuals who are considered violent, menaces to society. Violent, real certified individuals of violence, that call to violence, that promote violence, that dictate violence. They're real individuals like that who live this lifestyle. That's their lifestyle. And there's a large population of individuals who that's not who they are. So if that's not the case, then is incarceration the best tool? Is incarceration the best tool? How do we examine this? How can we examine this component? You have a large group of individuals who are not considered nonviolent. So if they're not nonviolent, why are they housed? Why are they incarcerated? Because now we're seeing what? If there's a large population of individuals who are incarcerated, who are nonviolent, then we find that what? Prison is not a deterrent for crime. Yes. Yes, pay attention. Prison is not a deterrent for crime. You have a large population of individuals who've committed these so-called or violated these legislations, violated these bills, violated these charges, violated things that go against what they call the Constitution, go against the rules and the regulations and the criteria documented in law, legislation. And these crimes are non-violent offenses. So if this is the case, if this is what's taking place in our place called society, why do we not consider rehabilitation? Why is rehabilitation not on the table? Why are we spending so much money? Why? Come on, y'all know the answer to this one. This ain't a $10,000 question here. This ain't a question where half the people in the room don't know. This is that same situation that took place during the Atlantic slave trade. The Atlantic slave trade. The Atlantic slave trade. Bringing individuals across the waters, across the Atlantic, to provide a labor force for a group of individuals in positions of authority. Bringing them over, taking them from their homelands, bringing them here to a place they're not familiar with, telling them that their names are no longer their names, their religious beliefs that they had no longer their religious beliefs, the language that language, you no longer could talk that way. You must take on the names that we give you. You must take on the religious beliefs that we give you. You must take on the language that we give you. So today, yesterday it was called the Atlantic slave trade. Today it's called the new Jim Crow. Today it's called the new Jim Crow. For those who just, you sleep, get an alarm clock, wake up. This is the new Jim Crow right here. The prison industrial complex. This is why rehabilitation is not on the table. This is why rehabilitation is not on the table. Let's go back. Let's go back in history. Let's talk about this. I mean, the time the time is of the essence. This is why I say get the book, do some examination, do your research, huh? Come to some common understanding, man, about what's going on in your society. You live here, huh? You here, land of the free, home of the brave, land of the free, home of the slave. You know the slogan, huh? Which one are you? Which category do you fall into, huh? And then get them to flip the script on you. Say, let that apply to you. Let that apply to you. You take on the role of a slave. You take on the role of an individual prevented from housing, an individual prevented from education, an individual prevented from employment. You take on that role. Live with that role for 100 years. You and your people live with that role. Live with that lifestyle for hundreds and hundreds of years. Let your people live with that lifestyle. And then come back and tell me how you feel. Then come back and ask me the question about rehabilitation. Should it be on the table? Talk to me about rehabilitation now. Why is it not? Why is it not the norm in the prison industrial complex? We're gonna go back to 1995. What happened in 1995? And I speak about 1995 because I was there. I was incarcerated in 1995. I was incarcerated in 1995 and had 48 credits towards my associate's degree, straight A student. And we got the call. There will be no more college. There will be no more college. There will be no more colleges behind these walls. We had to let that sit in. Because first of all, we going to college, right? And when you go to college, you get Pell Grants. It's money left over. We supposed to get it. Guess what? We never got our money. They never gave us never gave us any of our money. Okay, we supposed to get money for book credit and all. We received none of that. And then halfway through the ride, you're going to say, we're going to stop this. What's happening? What's taking place? Rehabilitation is on the table. Rehabilitation is on the table. We have colleges like St. Francis. We have colleges like Penn State inside the prison industrial complex. So now I want you to ask yourself here's the $10,000 question here. Here's the $10,000 question here. Your neighbor is just released from prison. Your neighbor is just released from prison. He's just released from the State Correctional Institution of Rockville. And he leaves with a college degree. But up the street, another one's released. He leaves with nothing. No educational skills, no vocational skills, no religious commitment, no nothing. Both of them can't wait to get out. This one here has a degree, a bachelor's degree. He has a bachelor's degree in psychology. He has a bachelor's degree in sociology. He has a bachelor's degree in business management. He has a bachelor's degree in accounting management. He has a bachelor's degree. This guy over here, he has nothing. He has nothing but eagerness and temptation. He's eager like a beaver. He can't wait to get back out and wreak havoc on society. Who would you rather live with? Who would you rather live next to you? From the two, who would you rather live next to you? The man that's rehabilitated? Or the one who took full advantage of living amongst criminals? Birds of a feather flock together. The one who took some time out to really invest in burglary, took some time out to really invest in robbery, took some time out to really invest in how to truly sell drugs. Who you want next to you? Who you want moving next door to you? Because this is how they're being released. This is how America is releasing them back to our society. You understand my point? Who would you rather? Who would you rather have? This is what's going on, my brothers and sisters. Rehabilitation. Rehabilitation is the cure for incarceration. Write that down. When you're talking to the legislators, when you're talking to the politicians, write that down. Rehabilitation is the cure for incarceration. Each and every individual who leaves state, federal, county custody with education, vocational, or religious commitment, educational skills, vocational skills, or religious commitment, he's less likely to return back to prison. He's less likely to return back to prison. He's less likely to return back to prison. And each and every individual who leaves a state correctional facility without these components, he's more likely to return back to prison. He is a product of recidivism. He is a product of recidivism. He is a product of the revolving door, returning back to incarceration. This is the project. This is the topic. This is the topic. The topic. Rehabilitation is the cure for incarceration. America is the leading industry in prison population. The leading. We lead the race. They look at us as the superpowers, but we're only as strong as our weakest. So America looks at who as the weakest link of society? African Americans. I mean, you can nickname it, you could call it whatever name you want to call it. It is what it is. But when it comes to entertainment, you know who run the show. When it comes to sports, you know who run the show. When you name it, what category, you name it. When the people of flavor, the people of color are introduced to it, it takes on a whole new twist. It takes on a whole new persona. It takes on a whole new supercalifragilisticexpialidocious type style. You see it, you see it. Come on now. Don't nickname it. Don't nickname it. I don't play the race card. America plays the race card. I don't play the race card. I had no control over the color that I am. Neither did this guy, neither did that guy. No one has the power to pick and choose what color he's gonna be. I'm gonna leave you with that one. Nobody has the power to pick and choose what color he chooses, what color he's gonna be in life. Black, white, green, blue, orange, he does not get to choose. That's from God Almighty. I ended all with that. May God bless you all. Have mercy on you, protect you all, and keep you all safe. Maybe not spend all time. Maybe take that